something going on that you haven't seen. There's something sexy about the night when the sky is dark and the streets are bright. Alright, I wear just what I like, so I wear my sunglasses at night. They keep my eyes from blinding. With all those diamonds shining, you'll never know just what I'm thinking or what I'm designing.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Christelle Martinette with another weekly reading for the week starting February 23rd, I believe that is. Let's see, 23rd. This week I have commemorative flag here for those who have lost us serving the country. But it's not only for veterans falling or for armed forces or law enforcement services members and individuals who have passed. This is just to commemorate those who are not with us. As I woke up this morning, I had a very, very strong message come to me about people who are no longer with us, and that's just to commemorate that. And another story before I begin. As I shuffle this deck, I have with me actually the Visconti-Sforza deck. This is the box I'll show you, and it's a very funny story with this deck. I'll very briefly tell you. I ordered this deck before Christmas. It arrived and it was missing the Joker, the Fool card. I sent it back and it was through an intermediary. I don't want to mention the company. And I got another deck. And the second deck was missing the Queen of Pentacles. And I really started thinking, well, somebody's trying to tell me something. So I called the company up directly, not the intermediary where I bought it online. And I said, look, I will not send it back to this place. Could you just please give me the card that's missing? And they said, look, we don't do that. We'll send you another deck. I said, can you please check before I get it? And she said to me, look, with all of the decks that you've had and the one that you have now, I'm sure you'll make a full one. Should you be missing a card? And so we laughed it off. And of course, they did send it another deck. And I thought, wow, first time I could start using it this morning. And I opened the deck, checked the cards, and it's missing the card of strength. Now, I have chosen to use this deck nonetheless, and take that as a message, a very strong message, since the strength card tells us that we're in a position of choosing to manifest our emotions, and that is where our strength lies. And now let me open for the week of February 23rd. All right, we have a Knight of Cups, the Nine of Swords, Eight of Swords, the Death card, the Moon, Temperance, the Chariot, our Empress, and the Eight of Pentacles. I will show you these cards and give you an idea of what they look like. They're very regal cards, simple, almost naive in look. This is our Knight of Cups. That is a very stately person. A person with a very straight back that only aristocracy has. That's the way I see this. But on either side, there's the 9 and the 8 of Swords. Now, typically our 9 is what many tarot decks depict as being very nightmarish, okay? And what I generally say is, it is in our dreams we can decide to wake up or not. But there's the 8 of Swords, and that is some challenge for us. There are two challenges concerning romantic endeavor. Across the middle is the Death card, which I totally love. It's so cute. And the Moon card and the Moon and the Death card are quite interesting together, because there's a rebirth, completely change, the opportunity here to change everything completely. And we have our Temperance card aligned with that. 3 major arcana in a row. And underneath those two are 2 other major arcana. The Chariot. The Chariot is a card of movement, but of movement that almost seems to stand still. This suggests that the movement begins in the upper echelons of our being, in the brain, the mind that calls the body into activity and tells every single part we are about to do something. Then we have the Empress. The Empress is always a card that I see as giving us not a control, but perhaps control in a passive sense. The knowledge that what you are doing is so fit and so purposeful for this moment in time that you should not feel any anxiety at all. And then the 8 of Pentacles. The 8 of Pentacles is a very balanced card, and a card that tells us that developments are coming forward, and they're coming forward in a tempered way, as the card of Temperance has told us. Actually, the Temperance is aligned with the Empress and the 8 of Pentacles to show you how much balance there is now in this period. And on the other, this diagonal from the Death card to the Chariot and the 8, those again are 2 major arcana flowing into the 8 of Pentacles. Very, very strong message to you that where you are is a well-balanced position and fit for the time being. But remember, and I'll keep repeating this through this reading, that card of strength that was omitted from this deck, as a reminder that strength is to be found in showing your emotions and communicating your emotions. Across the center then we have the Knight of Cups, as we saw, the Moon and the 8 of Pentacles. Now, as I mentioned, the Moon is always a difficult card, and when we see the Moon, we always get caught up in there's ups and downs and changes. The Moon is simply another side, another way of light, of seeing light. We know that the Moon probably reflects light, and this is also a message for us in telling us that just keep looking at what you are doing and what you surround yourself with, because it will be a reflection to you of how far you've come so far. Now, I'm going to do something that I've not done in the past, simply because I've experimented with. I have now the Petit Lenormand cards with me, and typically for me, and I say that again, it's for me now, this is my declaration of intent. The Lenormand cards, I find that when I mix with other cards, they are very snobbish, they are stately, they are aristocratic, and they don't mix well. I'm going to use them with these cards that I feel this tarot, this Visconti-Sforza deck is also in that same, has that same characteristic. And let's see if they illuminate something for us. I'll be illuminating those 2 cards, the 9 of Swords and the 8 of Swords. The 9 has an extra sword from the bottom up. Let's start with the 8. I use these Lenormand cards for my peek into the year 2015 in December, so that probably will give you a brief introduction on the type of cards. These are the 36 cards. It's an oracle card. deck. This eight of swords is oddly enough, it's a mixed message for me, and I'm seeing it with you at the same time now. It's the 3, which is a ship, the 10 card, which is a scythe, reaping or cutting, very swift action here, and then we have mice, troublesome difficulties, always characterizing something. Now, these two together stand to tell me that the troublesome characteristics surrounding an occurrence or an affair will be briefly come to a halt. It will briefly come to a halt, and eradicated the negativity, the troublesome difficulties of that affair, occurrence, thing will be eliminated very, very quickly. Now, the first card, the ship, typically talks about travel and or movement. Now, I can read this in this position because it stems from the Knight of Cups going into the into the 8 of Swords there, and then we have these 3. Perhaps there was an idea to take a vacation, a trip, and this would be over water. Right? There are other cards in this deck that talk of a trip else in other ways, but I feel this is abroad, at least passing some body of water. I'll take the Neapolitan deck on that to clarify if it is indeed a vacation that will be taken, and to clarify these 2 as well. Let's do that right now. Let's see. As these Neapolitan cards always need a very good shuffling. Compared to all the other decks, these are the deck. This is the deck that carries with it and the remains of other readings, and I systematically clean all my decks and all the cards, but this needs more cleaning, it seems, than others. All right, let's see if this is a vacation and an occurrence or something that will be eradicated or changed immediately. These are the cards that have come up. This is the Ace of Swords, the King of Swords, and the Knight of Pentacles. Now, in terms of a vacation or a trip or movement, these are not answering that question. What they are saying, nonetheless, is that there is something to be said, and definitely truth will come out around this week. The movement card here would be the Knight of Pentacles, and whereas if accompanied with other cards, this can tell you something more precisely of a movement. In this area, it also talks about spirituality, and it comes after 7 cards of Pentacles. 8 cards of Pentacles, actually. No, 7 cards of Pentacles. And it is telling us that we need never to forget that area of the truth, in inverted commas, that has to do with your spirituality and the way you conceive it. I'd like to take another Visconti-Sforza Tarot deck card at random and see about that. Okay, this is the Queen of Swords. She too is telling us that there is she demands and commands the truth, and verbiage at the very least. And so I'll leave that area of the spread at that. Let's go to our Nine of Swords. That is typically a nightmarish card stemming from the Knight of Cups and going into the Death card, and see what that has to tell us. Okay, now these three cards, this is a card of maturity and well thought out plans. We have a moment of disaster here that has been passed, has been crossed, and there is actually the awareness that it is time for communication, and communication of a more direct nature, even if there is a letter there. The more direct communication in this deck would be conversation, but that will not occur. When I say direct communication, I mean the person will communicate with you directly. There will be no more intermediary or game playing. Now I'll take the Neapolitan deck on that. Okay, and the Pentacles keep coming out. We have here the Ace of Wands, which means that is a movement card, and that will be occurring, what I just mentioned. The Seven of Pentacles, which is right before the, if I'm not mistaken, it might be a page there or a queen, I can't remember right now, but there's the Seven of Pentacles, that is the seventh and last of the numbered cards. It is such an important card. It is such an important message that tells us that there is more than meets the eye. We are not talking about a house of cars and money here. We're talking about a spiritual reunion that may play out in the form of exchanged goods, exchanged toys, gifts that we give each other. But the underlying message is it's all one package. It all comes together. We live in a material world, material things surround us, and that's fine. It depends on, it depends on how we charge those goods with spiritual worth that makes our world. And this Page of Cups again tells us it's a messenger. There is something that we really don't know, and there's someone who really has to tell us, and we'll see if they decide to do that. And on this card I've opened with La Vera Sibilla, and there I did not, and then I put the Neapolitans on that. I would like to use the Lenormand cards on that as well. Okay. And they are confirming that the communication indeed is an upward battle, but it also is a spiritually inclined battle, if we want to use that word. Effort, endeavor, affair. And these birds speak of talk, and the key would be direct talk. Right, that is the message for someone who's interested in coming forward in that. Now, the other cards are just so lovely and self-explanatory, especially the Arcana, the major Arcana. We had the Death, the Moon, the Temperance, the Chariot, and the Empress. I would like to take the Lenormand on this Eight of Pentacles. Oh, well. They are serving me well. They seem to like the Sforza Visconti deck. I'll try to use these more often. The Lenormand are telling me that the communication that we saw before, those written communications, will be starting again. It'll be just the beginning of communication. Now, this is the other card, the Stork, that talks of movement and travel. But this is qualifying the movement that I saw before in the ship. perhaps there was an idea of taking a trip in a faraway land, of at least crossing an ocean. But this is an animal that bears tidings and brings good news. At times, it's when it's linked to the child, as in this case, it does bring information about a child, and it could bring information about a pregnancy. And with the letter, it does point to that. Now, for those of you who have already given your gifts to the world and the universe in those terms and are not within the reproduction age, or who have had vasectomies, this is telling us that the return is to the home, because storks typically come back and take care of their own. So this, and I'll leave it with that, there will be a return to the home in a pragmatic sense, in a materialistic sense, and in a figurative sense. Around next week, around this week that I'm reading for, there will be the notion of returning home. Well, it was, as always, a pleasure to read with you. Thank you for joining me and for listening to all of these wild and strange stories, for giving me the opportunity to commemorate those who've passed, and to show you the deck with the missing strength card that we need to remember to manifest our emotions, to show our emotions, talk to our emotions, and all of the rest. And visit my website, ChristelleMartinette.com. Contact me if you want a private reading. Do give me feedback. There's also, I'll be changing that in my description. I'm doing the readings as Christelle Martinette for a company that I have, Multiple Voices. I'll write that in the description as well, and you can take a look at that. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for your support. Bye-bye.